What's up everyone, it's King Gamery here and I'm back with a new YouTube video. I hope you guys enjoy. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at some of the cameo characters who are potentially coming back for Mortal Kombat 1, taking a look at this tweet that happened today from Ed Boon. That was a quote tweet and it's really big information as far as who could potentially be coming back and some confirmations that we could potentially have as cameos or maybe even the main roster for this game. But before we get into this YouTube video, be sure to leave in the comment section down below who is a character that you would like to see come back as a cameo or even main roster, and what are your thoughts after viewing this video? Do you think are some of the predictions that are going to be able to come true? As we're going to go straight into this video, we saw this tweet come out from Ed Boon, how he quoted a tweet this morning at 8 in the morning. And it says, from a tweet, it says, "Choose cameo. Can you name all of my cameo predictions?" And Ed Boon quoted it and said, "It is uncanny how many of these you got right." And he has that kind of little, little winking, smiling emoji or whatnot. Not emoji, but face. And we're gonna take a look at this. We're just kind of break this down and see. Ed is already kind of saying, look, some of these characters are going to be coming back. It's just a matter of who is coming back. So we're going to take a look at this, and we're going to kind of break down and see which have the potential shot to return. So we're going to go ahead and already eliminate the obvious that we saw from the trailer, and say, okay, we've seen them already in the gameplay trailer, so they're pretty much confirmed, which is Kano, Sonya, Jax, Sub-Zero, Striker, and Goro. Everyone else is basically just a prediction at this point as far as what we could potentially see come back. So we're going to start from right to left, and we're just kind of talk about every single one of these. And the first two side that we're gonna on the side of the right side, sorry, is we're gonna see Movado and Farah, from Ferrator. And I think it's really interesting, to be able to say, oh, I think that Farah could be coming back. Now, we did see, potentially in the past, we did see some little bit of confirmation that both of these two characters could be returning. But it wasn't 100% confirmed. So to be able to have them on this list, it kind of makes sense. You go back on that prediction people were having, and then you include them, and it's like, okay, it makes sense. A lot of talk was around it, and then to see these two, basically it could come true, it could not. Who knows? It really is all up for discussion. But I do like the inclusion as far as having these two on there, just to say, hey, I saw them in the past, be talked about, and I'm going to throw them on there as cameos. I 100% get the reasoning, and I 100% understand why they are here. But we're going to see Shao Kahn and Cassie. And I think this is interesting, too, because Ed Boon said in an interview that the Kombat kids are not going to be part of the story mode, that they're not born yet, right? And so you see Cassie on this list. But another mention was that they might not be in the story mode, but there's a potential shot that they could come back as a cameo. And that being said, there's a potential shot. If you're going to have any one of the Kombat kids, right, I think that you should have Cassie. I think that she makes probably the biggest impact to the whole Mortal Kombat franchise compared to everyone, as far as the Kombat kids such as Kung Jin, Takeda, Jackie Briggs, and Cassie. And I know you can say, well, Gamer, what about whenever we saw in the gameplay trailer and we saw the ancestor or the relative next to Kung Lao? Do you think that could be Kung Jin? It could be, but who knows? That could just be an extra, or maybe that's not even Kung Jin at all. But I do see, if we are going to have any one of the Kombat kids, I see it being Cassie Cage. And then talking about Shao Kahn, I think it's interesting. I mean, we have a couple of the big bodies, how we already saw Goro is confirmed, right? And to be able to have Shao Kahn, it would be really interesting. I don't know if it would be Shao Kahn or General Shao, who knows? Because we're going back in time with the whole timeline, it could be, basically a whole different name. But, it could be Shao, And so to see him be a cameo, it could be really interesting. I mean, we are so used to seeing, Shao be, a main roster type of character. We did see him be downloadable content for Mortal Kombat 11. We saw him in the story mode as he was the main villain for MK9. So being able to see him return would be really cool, in my opinion. And I definitely like the take. I definitely think it is possible. Now, we already see that Goro is on here, but he's pretty much already confirmed. We saw him in the gameplay trailer. So we're going to look at mocap. And I think this is an interesting selection. I don't really know if we're going to get mocap back in the game. Obviously not main roster, but there's a chance that he could be a cameo. I think it's interesting to have this talk about cameos because you just don't know what to expect. You could have like characters that we potentially see be main roster, or you can be like character who has not appeared in a Mortal Kombat game in forever. And for that reason, having characters like mocap come back would be really cool. I'm not even gonna lie, because I think that's so cool. We haven't seen mocap since Armageddon, and to see him like be able to come back and be able to perform assists for like a main roster character, like I don't really know what his special moves would be, but it's definitely just something that you can kind of like imagine or kind of picture, and then you can be like, oh, that's really cool. So I love this take that mocap is on here. I mean, like Ed said in the whole quote tweet, some of these are right. It's just a matter of we have to like kind of guess which ones are gonna be right at the end of the day. Ed actually kind of, getting into the more of the section. Ed actually kind of a little bit confirmed that Shinnok might be coming back in that interview, and I think that's a great thing. I don't know if we're gonna see, obviously you're gonna have like Shang Tsung come back as DLC, and to see that like Shinnok be coming back as a cameo, I think that makes perfect sense. I think that you're able to have like cameo special moves come out from Shinnok and be able to execute like your main, like the Hell Sparks, and be able to perform like special moves. That makes sense since you already have like Shang as like main roster. I don't think that you necessarily need to have Shinnok and Shang be both main roster, so I could totally see Shinnok being a cameo coming back, and I think it would be really cool to have that duo of Shang and Shinnok, be main roster and cameo, have that little duo, and be able to fight in the game. And not only that, but like I think that both of the two have similar move lists, and you can argue that per se. But like when you look at like the Hell Sparks, or you look at like projectiles, it's like wow, these two have like similar game styles or same game plans. So it would be really interesting if they do bring back Shinnok. If he's gonna be able to like have the same like move like list or whatnot, or if it's gonna be switched up differently. Boraicho is another character that I could totally see come back in this game. I definitely think it's an iconic figure to the story. And I think that's really interesting, really cool to see Boraicho return. He's definitely, we saw him in Mortal Kombat X return as DLC. So to see kind of like, fan favorite, I would say, because a lot of people do like Boraicho, right? He definitely has, he's part of the whole MK lore, and I love that. So to see him be on this cameo list and to be able to see that he's potentially got a shot to return, I love it, and I would be all for it if he is to return. Now, a character I am gonna say that I disagree with, and I'm talking about disagreeing out of the whole, what I'm seeing the most. And that is actually Noob Saibot. I just don't see if we're going to be able to get Noob Saibot back in the game. And the whole reason is because we've seen from the character interactions, from gameplay that we've seen so far with Mortal Kombat 1 from a lot of these content creators, is that Bi-Han is actually Sub-Zero in this game. So, and I don't know necessarily if we're going to have, Noob Saibot. Since Bi-Han is technically the Sub-Zero, then who would be technically Noob Saibot? You know what I'm saying? So, like, it doesn't really make sense if that is true, but like don't get me wrong, it would be cool. I just don't see it happening, especially if Sub-Zero is confirmed to be Bi-Han for Mortal Kombat 1. Then we're going to keep moving along in this list. Oh, so we actually did see confirmation of Kung Lao. We saw him in the gameplay trailer. We saw him do like his spin attack as one of the assist moves, so we did see confirmation. Kung Lao is going to be one of the cameo fighters. But Devourer, I think it's a super interesting take. So obviously, I think you can say that, hey, I don't think Devourer is going to be main roster, and that's fair to say. I 100% would agree with that if she does not return as main roster. But to have her as a cameo, that means she could potentially still have some sort of impact in the story mode. And for those who don't know, in the past two story modes, Devourer has had a big impact in the story modes. So I would totally understand if she does come back as a cameo for this game. Not necessarily be a part of the main roster, but come back as a main as a cameo fighter, and still have that role or effect that where she could somehow impact the story mode. I think it would be great. It's definitely made sense over the past 2 games. Now I understand. You're gonna say, well, Gamber, this is a totally new, timeline, totally new universe. Why would you say that? Who knows? Even though we're going back in time, she still legit had like kind of chaos that she brought to the story mode. So if she comes back, like I can totally see her still create some sort of chaos for the story mode. We did see Striker. Now, Suhao is actually an interesting take. So we went over this in my breakdown video, and for those who didn't see, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys that we did an MK like breakdown over like gameplay and whatnot, and the gameplay trailer. Sorry, but we actually in the background. We actually got an Easter egg of Suhao, and I think that's really unique to see the Easter egg in the background. If you missed it, then, you didn't see it right away. It's right there. We can kind of see that little, blurred out image that he, has a potential shot to be somewhat. And the thing is that Suhao has been an Easter egg in multiple NRS games, right? We've seen him multiple times in the past either be brought up or have like an image or some sort of including of detail of Suhao. So to have him on this cameo list, it would make perfect sense. We've seen so many hints, so many predictions that just hint him, and to see him come back would definitely be like a hint that finally came true. So I love this take. I definitely think it's something that is very well possible. It's just we have to wait and see. That's what these videos are all about, is just a potential wait and see. But I definitely would, love to see his return, because we haven't seen him in quite some time. As far as characters who we haven't seen in quite some time, Moloch, Drawman, and Motaro. So I think it's one thing. I don't think we can. One thing I'm gonna say about Motaro is, since we have Goro returning, I don't know if we're gonna get Motaro to return. Because I was like, okay, well, we already have Goro. I don't really know if we're gonna get Motaro, because usually you have one or the other, right? Between Motaro, Goro, and Kentaro. Like, you usually have one or the other. And since we've already seen Goro be in the gameplay trailer, I'm not really quite sure if we're gonna see Motaro return, but still, once again, we haven't seen him in quite some time, so it definitely would be interesting to see him return. But Drawman and Moloch, so once again, we've definitely heard all of the, talks from NRS about how they want to bring back fan favorites. They want to bring back 3D era characters. So to see these two on this list, I mean, I get the reasoning of why they're here. This is definitely, a 3D era characters that could potentially return. Who knows? Once again, we just love to make predictions as soon, as we get closer and closer to, having more character reveals or more, character trailers, cameo trailers, who knows, gameplays. We're going to see more and more revealed over these next 3 months as we lead into September. And to see these two characters, I would love it. I'm all for it. I'm a huge fan of Drawman. I think he's got some lore to, the MK storyline. We've seen him, be in the crypt many times. So to see him possibly return would be cool and interesting. Moloch, I don't really know. I mean, it's not too big of a ask, in my opinion, for a lot of people to see him return. But I know a lot of people have really brought him up in the past, so definitely we can totally keep that in mind. Now, I'm not 100% sure on who this is. Maybe you guys can help grow my knowledge in the comment section below. Who is this? And I don't know who this is, and I would love some confirmation. I don't want to tell y'all the wrong information of someone that this is not. So let me know who this is in the comment section, and I will give you my prediction down there below on if I think that they're going to return or not. Alright, so the last two characters are Tremor and Chameleon, and it's definitely two characters. Tremor was like a character that returned in Mortal Kombat X, and definitely was a fan. Like, a lot of people loved Tremor. They loved his design. They loved everything about Tremor. So to see Tremor return would be like, I would understand and get the reasoning. Definitely, like, a lot of people had been asking for Tremor for so long, and then they finally get to see him be brought back for MKX. Now potentially being brought back for Mortal Kombat 1. I understand, not main roster, but still be included in the game. So I could totally see his return, as well as Chameleon. I think Chameleon, to basically like spice it up a bit, have a Chameleon return, and this is the female Chameleon, by the way, in case you were just, oh, is that male or female? It's female. So yeah, definitely could be a possibility. I love all of these possibilities, predictions. You just never know. We got to stay on our toes. We got to all have like our predictions, on who we think could return, who's not going to return. And with this tweet coming out from Ed about how many of these you got right, you just have to wonder by looking at all these characters, who is the potential characters that are going to possibly be returning as a cameo. But that is going to do it for this YouTube video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, be sure to comment down below who of these characters do you think has a true shot on returning either as a cameo or even main roster. If you think any of these characters are going to return as a main roster, then leave a comment down below. But that is going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you guys in the next YouTube video. Take care.